of sound, because if not, we're never gonna start. Alrighty. Everybody, we are here in Berkeley, California with the one, the only, from Campbell Bay Electric, Mike. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming out to the Bay Area. Yeah, dude, it's always a blessing to have you out here. My guys get all pumped when we see you because they remember the foreman comprehension course that you came out and did with us. So everybody gets all stoked. My office, Courtney's looking forward to spending a little time with you as well. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, super happy to have you, my man.
No, and I'm excited because we're over here at one of your projects. It's going to be the chocolate factory, right? We got
Yes,
little
sir.
Willy Wonka's going to be running around.
Yeah.
And now we're going to take we're going to dedicate some time. We're going to make sure we get to understand your story. Because what I love about what you're doing is not many contractors are out there putting the effort, putting so much attention to what their team needs.
Yeah.
And what I love about what you're doing is not only when it comes to training, not when it only comes with what the industry is growing and how you're trying to adapt to it, but I think it's pretty unique at understanding who you are as an individual. Because if the listeners who are coming in, and let's say you're an apprentice, let's say you're a journeyman, or let's say you want to think about becoming your own contractor, there's so much more to electrical than just physically doing work. We know we're here at a job site. We see everything that's going on. We have the framers, we have loading, we have everything coming in. But what I love about you is the thing that's making you different is your story.
Yeah.
What's making things different from you is how you approach the work, how you approach business as a whole. So I want to hear more about you, how that all started. Were you born like this? How'd you get into the trade? I think a lot of people want to now see what is it going to take to become a contractor.
Yeah, well, my story is This guy get out real quick.
Oh no, he's probably just moving it. But yeah, just keep going.
So my story is a little bit different than everyone else's. I gotta give a lot of contribution, a lot of thanks to my older brother. He's 10 and a half years, almost 11 years older than me, and my uncle. My dad wasn't really around for our childhood, me and my brother growing up, so we kind of had to learn to be men on our own. And my uncle stepped in and taught my older brother electrical his summers through high school. So he worked, graduated high school, and already had a good jump in the industry. And my brother tried to do the same thing for me. So my brother started a company around the same age that I started my company. He started his company when he was 25, just like I did. I started working a little bit when I was about 12 years old, maybe like 3 days, 4 days. Then it got more consistent from 8th grade in all my summers, and it kept me out of trouble. And I appreciate him for getting me into that. I started off with a love-hate relationship for the trade. I loved it because I got the camaraderie of older guys. I felt like I connected with older souls. I became really good friends as a young kid with guys in their 30s and 40s, and had a lot of wisdom just about life in general. And I made some of my best friends when I was a teenager were like 35-year-old guys. I had my high school buddies, but then I had my workforce buddies too. And like I said, it was a little love-hate. I had a nickname when I would first start off in the trade. They called me the creepy crawler because I was the guy who would crawl under the house and in the attics, and they'd be like, "Hey, creepy crawler, we got some wires for you to run." And I was like, these fuckers. But
Yeah,
it was good. And I had a lot of ups and downs with the electrical trade. I didn't want to do something else. I graduated high school. I was like, I think I want to go to college. I went to college for a day and dropped out. They put me in English 1A and gave me 2 theses to write in one night. And I was like, dude, I just worked a 9-hour day in an attic. Like, I'm not doing 2 theses. So I was like, I think I'm going to stick in electrical. And I stuck in it, took it seriously, went to trade school. And now it's 19 or 20. That's where I went to Institute of Business and Technology. That's where I learned to bend conduit. And then I was like, hey, I think I want to be on commercial jobs. I started being on commercial jobs, being the lead of my own small projects. Then I jumped to other companies too. Me and my brother, we butted heads sometimes. So, it's just sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
And I went to New Age Electric for about a year. He had me come back with a little raise. He reeled me back in for a raise, and then I went to Ferris Electric for a bit. And I felt like I worked with some really good, veteran electrician journeyman there, foreman, that put me on some good game. And from there, I brought that back to my brother's company. And along came COVID, and I was doing a lot of side jobs at the time. And it was when the stay-home order was in effect, and no one was allowed to work. And obviously, I still worked on my side jobs.
Yeah.
And then we were able to go back to work. And my brother said, "Hey, come on back." And I said, "Hey, I got to finish this side job." He said, "Okay, well, here's an ultimatum: finish your side job. You're fired, or come back." And I was like, "I'm gonna finish my side job." And then that was in April of 2020, and it's been a hell of a ride ever since. Now we're going on our 6th year. I started in just residential service. I got a lot of work during COVID. A lot of people were doing DIYs. Nextdoor and Yelp was booming at the time. It was very competitive. I had to be very cheap back then, but come a long way since then, and I'm just thankful for all the lessons and all the people that have helped me along the way. And I've learned that the biggest learning factor I've learned is to ask for help when you need it, and be willing to learn and be able to put your pride aside, because I was a good electrician starting off, but being a business owner is just a whole nother animal that I wasn't ready for, and it's been a humbling experience, and we're still working out the kinks every day, and ready to learn every day.
That's what there's a lot of points that you talked about even from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't recognize that. And a lot of people are thrown into it, like in the trades. But what you said was you liked electrical even when you started off, because you were always with older people.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. Like, I was one of those kids when I first started electrical. A lot of my friends were like 25 plus.
Yeah.
So they were always like, hey, and it wasn't like grandfather it wasn't like a Yoda to a Luke type of relationship,
Yeah.
but it would be like they were 5-10 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
So they would be like, hey, just don't do this and it'll help you get better.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I tell everybody, like, a lot of my friends growing up in New York City, when I went to school, in New York City specifically, you have to apply to go to different types of high schools.
Yeah.
So for me, I wanted to go where all my young friends were, like, oh, they're just going to that school, so I want to go there.
Yeah.
My older friends were like, no, there's schools that you can apply for and you can learn electrical in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, shoot. So they would apply for me to go to that school.
That's awesome.
So they just graduated, so they were like 18, 19, 20, and they're like,
Yeah.
no, go to the school I just went through.
Yeah.
So me as a kid, I wanted to go where everyone else was going, but they were like, no, go do here.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how throughout life, I always said I'm the luckiest dude alive, because in every aspect of my life, at like 14, 18, 22, 20, I've always had somebody in my life who said, just do this one thing.
That's crazy that you say that, because there was one of my good friends who gave me the courage to go out on my own at the time. He actually had been let go from my brother's company, and he was a much older guy. And his dad used to own a company too, and he was just doing side jobs on his own. And he's like, dude, you're a good electrician. He's like, you could do it, go do it. And I was like, nah, I don't know, like on the fence. And then the opportunity came, and he was the one that kind of helped push me. And then shortly after I started my company, he passed away. But I like give credit to him. And it was just like, one of those things. He was, a good friend of mine, and was, sometimes you just need that little motivate from that person you care about, like, hey dude, you got this. If someone else believes in you, you should believe in yourself, but also you should believe in yourself first. So it's, I don't know.
You hit it on the head, and and I believe there's cycles of life.
Mm-hmm.
There's people come in your life for a reason,
Yeah.
and there's some people who come in to give you the one thing that you needed,
Yeah.
and then you like never see him again. It's like, yo, that's wild to me.
Yeah, but yeah, he was a great friend of mine. And then it was shortly after he motivated me to start my company. He like had passed away, and then I was like, man, if I didn't do that when he was alive, and then he passed
Or
away,
if you never met him.
would I have? Yeah, yeah. But I felt like I had the ambition to do it. I was just very nervous to make the leap. I mean, as everyone is, but you know, the moment's never right. You just got to make it, and it's like having a kid. You know,
You're never ready.
I'm not ready to have a kid. Like when I had my son, I was like, I'm not ready to do this. And then my mom told me too. She was like, you're never gonna be ready. You'll be ready when the kid's there. That's it.
Yep.
When the kid gets there, you're ready.
Yeah, and then it's a learning from there.
Yeah.
It's never. That's what we talked about all the time. Everybody wants to be comfortable. They want to feel like they can tackle something, and then before they jump in or they get started on anything.
Yeah.
But life is, you have to be the person willing to do the hard work before that opportunity comes, or it's never going to be given to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we talked about yesterday. Like, I believe in luck. I believe in lucky days. I do believe in that stuff. But you have to be at the right place at the right time to be lucky.
Yeah.
You see where I'm getting at? If you're going to ask for opportunities from the comfort of your bed or at home, or talk crap from, your little office, and that's all you know, you're never going to get that lucky opportunity.
Exactly. Like we had talked about before, like the whole comfortability thing. You can't expect different results by doing the same thing. You got to get out of your comfort zone, and that's where real growth happens. Putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, doing the shotgun approach, putting yourself at events, going to RE Plus, going to the builders convention, walking up, shaking that hand. I got a project, a pretty good one from this one contractor. I just saw him at 7-Eleven. He was buying some stuff, and I was like, hey, you ever need an electrician? And then he got my card and called me up, and then I got a good, a decent contract from that. So you never know when the opportunity is there, but you got to be willing to put your pride aside. And when you see an opportunity, sometimes it's not always dressed as an opportunity, but just give it a shot.
Yep. I love that. And I think that's where a lot of contractors don't understand. But I also can see it because we're in an industry where it doesn't teach that.
Yeah.
We're in an industry where I say all the time, sometimes you see the guy who gets promoted in his company is usually the best worker.
Yeah.
So then he's, promoted to be, you're the working foreman,
Yeah.
Or they're the best guy to tackle this, so they give him all the promotions, and he may not be the best speaker, the best guy with character, or he may not be the guy who's always on time, but he always gets it done,
Yeah.
So companies are tying themselves to these individuals, which at the end of the day, the work has to get done. But at the same time, if you just focus on those skills, it really doesn't translate to when you become a contractor. And that's why I love what you're doing as a company. You're seeing the value in training your team before they get those responsibilities. So when they do get the job, the opportunity to become a foreman, to become a project lead, they're like, oh yeah, I remember the training instead of trial by fire.
Yeah.
I remember we went through that class, so let me go back to those resources.
Absolutely.
Because what we see is, hey, you're the foreman. I never was a foreman before. Or go to your first GC meeting, and he's like, well, that can't get done. It's like, that's not how you talk in those types of meetings.
Exactly.
Or the owner comes over here and says, I need this done, and then you just become a yes man because when you were told, and as a worker, to go do something, you weren't told to ask questions. You would just go do it, and then you do something wrong.
Yeah.
So we're seeing this group of electricians going through the ranks are great at what they do, but they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to lead. You're already training your employees to do that on an early stage so that when they do get the opportunity, they already feel comfortable. When did that start clicking for you? Because like I said, the average contractor, you ask them and you say, hey, you're going to do this. They say, I'm afraid if I train them, they may go somewhere else, right?
Yes.
You understand that's part of the job. So when did that start coming? Because not a lot of contractors think like that.
So, your business is like your baby, and you want to give your kid everything you didn't have in your youth. Does that make sense? So when other companies that I've worked at, some contractors don't always, it's just get the job done. We don't have time to teach why are you teaching them to bend conduit? We got to get this done and move to the next one. I wanted to build a company, a business where the guys feel respected and they have direction on where to go and good training. I just want, the guys to be trained well and all that.
I love that. Because especially when you said it's like you want to give your kids the best. That resonates a lot because a lot of people don't view it like that because work becomes such a thorn.
Yeah.
Work becomes such a, every day it's another fire, or it becomes a hassle. Like what we talked about on our way here.
Mm-hmm.
Contractors waking up and saying, oh, same crap, different day. It's like, bro, no one told you to be a contractor. No one told you to do this. And now you hate it.
Yeah.
I always tell electricians, if you're not ready to go into contracting, don't get into contracting.
Yeah.
Because you came into the trade because you love electrical. Mm-hmm. And I've seen guys quit companies. I've seen guys quit the job. I've seen guys shut down businesses because they love electrical, but they hated contracting so much that they just want to walk away from it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's sad to see something that you love so much and then you give up on it because you couldn't deal with the stress.
Yeah, I mean, we've all had those days, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then, it's all worth it in the end. I mean, we've all had those days where we're like, is this worth it? Do we want to continue this? I have a job offer. I've gotten job offers for, 200K plus to leave the company and go work for someone else. But, it's really, you get really sentimentally attached to what you put your blood, sweat, and tears into.
Yep.
And, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to comprehend. And it would be the hardest breakup of my life,
Mm-hmm. But that's why I love what you're doing, because you're not just saying, hey, I love what I do, blood, sweat, and tears, because there's a lot of contractors doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But every day you're saying, what could I do different than today?
Exactly.
To make it work.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. Imagine I love electrical, but you keep doing the same crap every day and you don't grow. That's where it becomes.
That's the routine. That's getting in the routine and in the comfort zone of just work. But
and then we fast forward that 20 years and now you're this miserable guy.
There's no growth there. Yeah. So that's what I've definitely been trying to focus on, and obviously bringing you aboard and having you help the team out and spending more time with you and going to your events and stuff. It's some good stuff and help grow the company and grow the industry, and the guys see that as well. The guys see that putting in the effort, that we're trying to do this for them. We want everyone to be able to have a good position to grow, a good place to grow wherever they want to go. So.
And then the part what I like a lot is there's a phrase I always use it. It's you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like having those mentors that you mentioned early on that were older than you. They're basically giving you the next step because they already been through it,
Yeah.
That's why I love like RE Plus. That's why I like working with all these other different organizations, because they're showing you this is how you should do business. Like when we went over there to Sacramento, now you're seeing like, oh man, there's this whole other world that they're trying to push. Yeah, and I never heard about it, and you'll never hear it if you just hang out locally here.
Exactly. And then like we were talking about before, there's some like contractors are just like, this is the way it's been. I get my consistent work this way. I don't need to go to the events and hear about the upcoming stuff, but that's where the gold rushes are, all these new platforms with AI, you could integrate with all this different stuff. You got the smart panels, energy management systems, the storage, all that work that's upcoming. If you're like prepared for that, then they could help you get to the next level. And I mean, just the little key takeaways that I got from RE Plus from those talks, there was, just the scale, the projection that they have of the upcoming work in the years to come. And I went to a SPAN event too at Universal Electric Supply, and they were showing the scale of the company and the projection of the sales that's coming up. And we all could be a part of that, or we could sit back and stay in our bubble and just stay with our consistent what we did yesterday and last year. But a lot of us don't want that. And some people don't put their money where their mouth is. Like, oh yeah, I want to scale. Yeah, I want to grow. But how are you getting out of your comfort zone? What are you doing to take the steps for that to happen?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I love about it, because that opportunity is literally there for everybody.
Yeah.
It's there. It's just are you the person who wants to put yourself in that new room? Are you the type of person who, after listening to it, is going to say, okay, this is what I want to do now and make some changes?
Yeah.
And I feel like not a lot of contractors. Why do you think contractors do that? Is that the way we were just raised?
I think
taught?
I think it's the old school way. I think a lot of it is ego, and a lot of it is contentment. If you're content with making however much you're making a year, you don't like to add extra stress. If new things scare you, then yeah, you're gonna stay content. And because there's a lot of trial and error. I mean, in the business, just in any sort of business. Like I saw my dad. He had 2 restaurants, and they went under. The restaurant industry is very hard, and I think people have just seen a lot of failure, and it's a scary thing to try new things because failure is a hard pill to swallow. But if you don't fail, you don't succeed at the same time.
That's the
You
thing.
got to take the L as a lesson, not a loss.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like that's a big part of it because, like, one thing that I work on in my board for what I want to do with the school, what I want to do in the industry, we actually have a board, and I said, I can reach my goal within 1,000 no's.
Yes.
So when I call a company or I'm working with a company and we're pitching our ideas, I'm like, I'm going to have this, but I have to go through 1,000 no's first. So I like switch that mindset. So it's like people are afraid of no's or people are afraid of failing. It's like, all right, when I'll talk to PBD, how many no's did you get this week? And I'll be like, 3. He's like, oh, that's kind of weak, bro.
That's
like,
weak. You got to
so
get
now
more
it's
than
like,
that.
now I want to do double. I want to get 10 no's this week, you know? Because then he goes, if you do 10 no's this week, hey, that's 500 a year.
Yeah, even the writer of the Squid Games, apparently that writer had like been presenting to different media companies for like 10 years and then got no's for 10 years. And then finally Netflix was like, yes. And then bam, it was a hit,
Blew up.
you know?
Yeah.
And then like the KFC guy, he didn't start till he was in his 60s. And it's just, you know, sometimes you can't give up. You just got to keep trying. And even in my company, you know, it wasn't very successful for the first 4 years. It was a struggle, a lot of painful losses, and a lot of hard learned lessons that each year I was like, damn, I wish I knew last year what I know this year. And I just want to continually keep saying that and get into the next level of knowledge, experience, and implementation too. I mean, knowledge is one thing, but implementing is another as well. So
I love that.
hopefully I'm staying on track.
Heck yeah,
the topic, you know.
No, and that's exactly it, because it's at the end of the day, when it comes from how you started, always looking up to older people to get you onto the right path, to now wanting to give your team that same lesson that you were taught.
Yeah.
And then as a contractor, learning from what you lost, learning from continuously going as in saying, hey, I now have the answers, but as long as I keep showing up, I'm going to figure it out. And then there's a loss, and then train that loss as a lesson and teach it to the next people. It's a constant growth. That's an upward spiral.
Yeah.
But the craziest part is we keep seeing installers and contractors in that world, and they think that's all it is. Oh, business has to be this. Business has to be miserable. You have to do this till 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Oh, no, if the GC doesn't pay you, it's because they're screwing you instead of having a conversation.
There's 110 ways to skin a cat. You know, a lot of these guys out there will say that too. No, you got to do it like this. You got to. I really don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it that way, you know?
Exactly.
Joe Blow over there is doing it like that, and he's making it work out. You might make it work out that way for you, but, you know, there's a lot of paths to be paved in this industry, and there's so many avenues in the industry. We got, energy storage, we got solar, we got residential, Title 24, smart houses, smart panels, you got industrial motor controls. There's just so much in electrical that, you could specialize in or go different ways. So saying one size fits all electrical contractors, that's it's probably one of the biggest lies out there.
So let's say if you're an apprentice coming into the trade, right? Or if you're thinking about jumping into electrical, what's one piece of advice you would give them instead of focusing on the work? What's one piece of advice that's going to help them throughout the years? Like, if you were to talk to your younger self, what would you tell them?
Character. Have good character and work ethic, and just
be willing to learn. And if you feel stagnant in where you're at, don't be afraid to go somewhere else. You know, because just because you fit doesn't mean you belong. You know, if you feel like you get to a place where you're like, okay, you know, I've learned, they've had me do the basic stuff. I feel like I'm not getting to the next level. I see on social media other people are doing this type of work. I want to learn how to do that, but I'm not learning that here. Don't be scared to go and put yourself out there to learn other things. Wow. And a lot of people are scared they think, oh man, this is, you know, I'm employed here. No one else will hire me. Don't doubt yourself. We're all extremely capable. And as long as you show up on time and you have good character and work ethic, you can be employed anywhere. So just believe in yourself is what I would say.
I love that. Mike,
appreciate you, my brother.
The same.
It's always a blessing to have you.
And if anybody is looking for more information on what Campbell Bay Electric is doing here in the San Jose area, feel free to jump over it and see Mike. And I'll put their information down below.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Now let's see that playback.